What if you were chasing a dream your whole life only to realize that it wasn't your dream to begin with? Picture this, you're on the world stage, cameras flashing, millions watching, and all you can think is, I hate this. That was Andre Agassi, 8-time Grand Slam champion and one of the greatest to ever do it. But deep down, he despised the sport he mastered.
When I retired, I turned a hard lens on myself and realized that, tennis was never something I chose.
And while he made it, it came at a cost to him, not just physically, but mentally. And that's because he was missing something. And something that if you don't have it, you may not achieve that success. But even if you do, it may not even feel like it. And so in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what that thing is and 4 things that will help you achieve success that actually feels like success, all without burning out, breaking down, and losing yourself in the process. And I've not only done this as a former professional athlete myself, but also the athletes that I work with, all from academy level all the way to elite level, including the Premier League. And it will not only help you stay motivated and sharp, but actually you'll enjoy the journey. All right, let's get into it. So Andre Agassi, before he could even decide what he liked, he was hitting thousands of balls a day. His father built a tennis court in the back garden and created a machine called the Dragon that fired balls at him relentlessly. From the outside, it looked like discipline, drive, and greatness in the making. But for Agassi, he hated tennis. Not because he lacked talent or because he didn't work hard, but because he had no choice. And what Agassi was missing was agency. Agency is the ability to make choices for yourself. It's owning your path, your decisions, and your reasons for showing up. And when you don't have it, even success can feel like a trap. You can have all the talent, all the support, and all the coaching, but if you're chasing someone else's dream, that success will never feel like it's good enough. Why? Because the motivation isn't coming from you. And agency is a secret fuel, one that differentiates those athletes who burn out to those who fall in love with the game. When you're the one in control, you define what success looks like. You're not just performing, you're building something that lasts. And that's where your real confidence and consistency comes from, not from external pressure, but from an internal purpose. And agency is all about control. And if you want to take control of your career, be sure to download our Mind Strong Sport app. It's totally free by clicking the link in the description of this video. All right, so let's get honest. How do we lose our agency in the first place? It usually doesn't happen all at once. It's and subtle and starts early. One is parents. They mean well, but sometimes their hopes can become your burden. You start performing for their approval rather than your passion. And if you're a parent, this is a warning to ask yourself, are your kids playing because you want their success? Another one is your coaches. You respect them and maybe even you owe them, but when they care more about winning than growth, it's easy to forget why you started. You can also lose it through peers. You see someone else succeed and suddenly their goals become your benchmark. And another is the crowd, social media, trends, the hype. You end up no longer playing for purpose, but for likes and followers. All of these can rid you of your agency and make you to start playing the sport or training in the sport in a way that doesn't really align with what you want. And to gain that long-term success and consistency, everything needs to come from you and you have to regain your agency. So how do you take your agency back? Well, I've come up with 4 ways in which you can regain your agency. First one is to take an action audit. This is looking at all the actions that you're doing throughout the week. Are you doing what you want to be doing or what someone else wants you to be doing? Now, there is a moment here where coaches and parents sometimes do know better than you, but you want to make sure that the things that you're doing are built for what you want to achieve. So if you're unsure about what you're doing in the week, ask those people around you, what is it that I'm doing here and why am I doing it? And if the reasons that they come up with don't align with your goals, then you can start to question that and maybe start to build out different actions. Second is to understand your motivations. Now, I've done a video on motivations before previously, but you want to look at whether you are intrinsically or extrinsically motivated and where your motivations lie. Simply put, do you have extrinsic motivations, which are all the status, success, the money, getting into teams, winning, the results, all of the external motivators that you could have. And those in themselves are not bad. We do actually need those in order for us to be recognizing that we're going in the right direction and our efforts mean something. But we also need to have intrinsic motivations. These are all the motivations that you can have that allow you to do the thing that you're doing because you love doing it. This could be because it aligns with your values. It allows you to build better relationships, create relationships, chase your dreams, or even start to become the person that you want to be. These intrinsic motivators are not held by the outcomes, because even if you win or lose in sport and the outcomes don't work, you can still be intrinsically motivated because it's built towards you doing the thing that you love because you love doing it and it says about you. And it will also help with you coming up with your values and the reasons as to why you're doing what you're doing. And if you're unsure about what those is, we have exercises in the Mind Strong Sport app that can help you with finding out what your intrinsic motivators are, your extrinsic motivators, and your values and all the behaviors that sit alongside them. Number 3 is that you have to be an active participant. You can't just sit back and allow other people to do things for you. You have to actively be getting involved. Some of the greatest athletes out there, someone like Roger Federer, was an active participant in scheduling his training, what he was doing week by week, and he was an active participant in knowing what he was doing. And that shows a huge level of agency because then he is in control and it's down to him and he is motivated because he came up with it. And you can do the same. So educate yourself on what you need to improve on. Maybe start to have an input on what is going into your training schedule. Yes, your coaches will be there to help you, but you will be more motivated if you have had an input in building out the process that's going to get you better and towards your success. And not only that, if your coaches are not around for some reason, then you are able to continue being motivated and you are the one being able to drive your progress, even without those people around you. I'm always a big fan of thinking, if all of your coaches and everyone that was there to support you vanished off the earth tomorrow, would you still be able to train and have success moving forward? And if the answer is no, then it may be that you don't have enough agency right now in what you're doing. And finally, the last one is what I call emotional selectivity. This is ultimately being able to understand the emotions that are pulling on you and triggering you and the actions that they create. Instead of being pulled by fear, guilt, or pressure from others, you consciously understand what you're feeling, what you act on, and what you release. Agency isn't about controlling everything, it's about selectively responding. You want to be considerate about what you're letting in. And there will be some people that you won't have a choice to be around and having their input around you, but you will have the choice in how you respond to those situations rather than reacting. And you'll be able to identify, process, and manage those emotions so that they don't have as much of a hold on you and you start to do things accordance to how you want to do them. All right, bringing back your agency is one type of mindset shift that you can make. And if you want to dive into even more mindset shifts, then you can do that via the Mind Strong Sport app. Using mindfulness, meditations, performance psychology, and mindset shifts, and so much more, it is the #1 app to build the mental strength both on and off the field. Download it via the iOS and Android stores via the link in the description of this video and start building your strongest mind in sport today. All right, there you have it. And there's another shift that you can make as an athlete, and I go into it in far more detail. But in order to understand that, you're going to have to watch this video next.